Mukti, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am.
Next, we are going to periodic trends in properties. First one is atomic radius. Periodic trends in properties. First one is atomic radius. How to find out the atomic radius? You consider an atom. The surroundings or the boundaries of atoms, they are diffused. So there is no clear-cut boundary in the case of an atom because it was the probability of finding electron. There is no clear boundary for an atom. Then how can you measure the radius of an atom? For that, directly we cannot measure. So we consider different types of radius, means radii. So here, to measure the radius of chlorine atom, you have to take a chlorine molecule. Chlorine molecule, see they merge. Cl2 molecule, they merge. That means it's like this. There is no clear-cut boundaries. So boundary is like this. So what you have to measure? Internuclear distance you measure. That is 198 picometer. We measure the internuclear distance and take the half of that internuclear distance you have measured and take the half of that. That will give you the atomic radii of chlorine. So write down, what is the half? You take half of this, that is 99. So 198 is the internuclear distance and take the half of that. So you write down, it is half the distance, it is half the distance between two atoms. It is half the distance between two atoms where they are bonded together by a single bond, by a single bond in a covalent molecule, in a covalent molecule. So we call this atomic radius as covalent radius. Okay. So atomic radius can be covalent radius, metallic radius, or van der Waals radius. Whatever it is, generally we call it as atomic radius. So this atomic radius is in the form of covalent radius. So for that we are seeing a covalent bond, that is Cl2. Two chlorine atoms together joined by Cl2. You cannot get Cl atoms when you buy from the market. You will be getting Cl2, Cl2, Cl2. So take the internuclear distance, that is 198 picometer. Half is what? 99 picometer. So that is covalent radius. Another type of atomic radius is metallic radius. In a metal, the atoms are arranged. So in a metal, atoms are arranged in no duster seen over here. So what we learned was covalent radius in a covalent molecule. Now I am going to show a metal. So here in metal, atoms are touching each other. So here one atom and here one atom. One atom here, which is touching another atom, which is touching another atom. So you measure its center to its center, this much. Or you, from this to this you measure and take the half of that. That will give you the metallic radii. First we learned covalent radii. This is metallic radii, metallic radius. Whether it is covalent radius or metallic radius, generally we call it as atomic radius only. Now, third type of radius is van der Waals radius. So write this definition for this metallic radius. Half the internuclear distance separating, half the internuclear distance separating the metal core, separating the metal core in the metallic crystal. Half the internuclear distance separating the metal core. So here, if this is 256, from here to here, if it is 256, half of that, that is 128, that is the metallic radius. Core means not the outer shell, it will be touching that. The next means the penultimate shell. Now, next is van der Waals radius. Van der Waals radius, that is that we say in the case of noble gases. Noble gases, they stay individually, individual atoms. That radius is called van der Waals radius. Means that is not in a combined state. We know that noble gas atoms do not combine with other atoms. So in that case, in the case of noble gas, since single atom is existing, that radius is called van der Waals radius. Now, what is the trend? What is the periodic trend of this atomic radius? Atomic radius may be covalent radius, metallic radius, or van der Waals radius. Generally, we call it as atomic radius. What is the trend in a period? In a period, the radius, atomic radius is decreasing. In a period, atomic radius is decreasing. When you consider this in a period, the size is decreasing. Atomic size is decreasing, or the atomic radius is decreasing. Why? Because same number of shells. In a period, suppose second period, 2 shells. The number of shells are same, but the electrons are getting added. At the same time, the number of protons in the nucleus is also getting added. So more number of protons means as you go in a period, one proton is getting added. But the electrons are added in the same shell. Electrons are added in the same shell. So protons will be attracting these electrons very effectively. So the electrons are pulled towards the center, to the nucleus. That means effective nuclear charge is increasing and the atomic radius or the atomic size is decreasing. Electrons are added in the same shell. So the effective nuclear charge is increasing. Electrons are very much pulled towards the nucleus as you go from left to right, and so the atomic radius is decreasing. So what is the trend? What is the trend in a period of this atomic radius? The size of the atom is decreasing, or we can say atomic radius is decreasing. What about the atomic radius in a group? In a group, the shells are increasing. So the size is increasing. Number of shells increasing. So the size is increasing. So in a group, atomic radius is increasing. Downwards, the atomic radius is increasing, the size is increasing. Why? Because new shells are getting added. And the inner electrons very well shields the outer electrons from the nuclear force of attraction. So as the number of shells are increasing, the filled inner shells will be shielding or screening the outer electrons from the nuclear force of attraction. So the size is increasing. In a period, the reason is effective nuclear charge, increase of effective nuclear charge. In a group, the reason is the shielding effect. As the number of shells are increasing, the shielding effect is increasing. So that's about atomic radius. Now we move to ionic radius. What is an ion? From a neutral atom, when one electron is removed, we get a cation. To a neutral atom, when an electron is added, we get an anion. So you consider sodium with atomic number 11. Sodium atom with atomic number. What is the atomic number of sodium? 11. That means 281. Bohr model. That is first 281. So this is the nucleus. First shell contains 2 electrons. Second shell 8. And third shell 1. 2, 8, 1. Sodium. This is neutral atom. Suppose we are giving some amount of energy. For example, here 496 kilojoules per mole, that is the amount of energy is given to that. That means that last electron can go away by absorbing this much amount of energy, or when we supply this much amount of energy, that last electron will be going away. That means now the number of protons that remains the same, but the number of electrons now less. Now only 10 electrons. See, one electron gone. That means only 10 electrons. But at the center there are 11 protons, 11 positive charges. 11 positive charges will be attracting this 10 negative charges very effectively. That means the size of this new species is decreasing. Size of the new species is decreasing. How? This is the nucleus, and first shell 2 electron and the second shell 8 electrons. Only 10 electrons now. So this is developing a positive charge because one extra proton. 10 negative charges will be cancelled by 10 positive charges. So one positive charge at the center is extra. That positive charge we are writing here, we call it as cation. So cation's radius is lesser than the neutral atom's radius. So write down that radius. This is 186 picometer. But here only 95 picometer. 186 picometer, that of neutral atom. When one electron is removed by giving some amount of energy, then what happens? Number of protons remain same, number of electrons less. So more number of protons are effectively attracting the less number of electrons. So the cation's radius or the ionic radius, cation's radius is lesser than that of the neutral atom. So we call that cation. Cations are positively charged, size is decreased as compared to the parent atom. Now what about when you add an electron to the neutral atom? Consider fluorine. Fluorine with atomic number 9. This is nucleus. First shell 2, second shell 7. Now I am adding one electron to this one electron. So when I add one electron to this, what happens? 9 protons and 10 electrons now. So here nucleus, first shell 2, second shell nucleus, first shell 2, second shell 8. Means more number of electrons, there will be electron repulsion. There will be electron repulsion. So the size will be increasing due to the electron repulsion, increased electronic repulsion. So here in the case of this is only 72 picometer. But after the addition of one electron, this is 136 picometer. So this is having a negative charge. Why it is having negative charge? 9 protons and 10 electrons. 9 protons and 10 electrons. So 9 positive charges can cancel only 9 negative charges. So one negative charge is extra. That negative charge is the charge of this entire species. We call it as an anion. So anion radius is greater than that of cation. Anion radius is greater than that of cation. Anion radius is greater than that of the parent neutral atom. So what are the differences between cation and anions? Write down, what are the differences between cations and anions? Cations are smaller as compared to the neutral atom, while anions are bigger as compared to the neutral parent atom. Cations have positive charge, while anions have negative charge. These are the two differences between cations and anions. Now let's see some cations and anions. But these cations and anions, what I'm going to see, are having same number of electrons. Same number of electrons. See, Na plus has got 10 electrons. F minus is also got 10 electrons. That means one is cation, one is anion, but they are having same number of electrons. We call such species as isoelectronic species. Isoelectronic species means the species having the same number of electrons are called, the species having the same number of electrons are called isoelectronic species. The species having the same number of electrons are called isoelectronic species. Just now we have seen Na plus 10 electrons, F minus 10 electrons, O2 minus 10 electrons, N3 minus means 3 electrons are coming. Atomic number of nitrogen is 7. That means number of electrons 7. Now 3 electrons have come. That means N3 minus has got 10 electrons. Similarly, neon is neutral, that is having 10 electrons. Then magnesium 2 plus 10 electrons. Aluminium 3 plus. Aluminium 3 plus. From aluminium 3 electrons are gone. Aluminium 3 plus, again 10 electrons. So all these species are having 10 electrons. We say these are the isoelectronic species. Now you compare the sizes of these isoelectronic species. Here all are having 2 shells. See, Na plus, when that 1 electron is lost, the last shell is not there. Now previously there were 3 shells, now only 2 shells. Mg2 plus, the last shells 2 electrons gone, now it has got 2 shells. Now Al3 plus, last shell, aluminum atom had last shell with 3 electrons, those 3 electrons gone. So aluminum 3 plus is having only 2 shells. These all are having 2 shells. Here 13 protons will be attracting 10 electrons. Atomic number is 13, number of protons. Inside the nucleus 13 protons are there. So these 13 protons or positive charges will be effectively pulling 10 electrons, 10 negative charges easily. But here, what happens here? 7 positive charges cannot control these 10 negative charges. So there is much electron repulsion. So among these, which is having the greater size, the size of N3 minus. N3 minus is having greater size. So size that is N3 minus is having greater size than O2 minus, then F minus, then Ne, then Na plus, then Mg2 plus, and the smallest size is Al3 plus. The smallest size is Al3 plus because greater number of Al3 plus greater number of protons will be attracting, means 13 protons are attracting only 10 electrons. Okay. So that's about isoelectronic species. The species having same number of electrons are called isoelectronic species. Okay, thank you.